Hi guys, I'm out here enjoying a nice morning. Um, it's bear season where I'm at, and the morning's pretty much shot in the ass, and I'm just sitting here thinking, and I've got some privacy, and just thought it would be a nice time to have a little moment of reflection. Um, let's start at the beginning. Um, I got my first 22 rifle when I was 5 years old. I got my hunting license the following year. I was 6. I couldn't read. The instructor had to read the test to me because they were concerned that if my father read the test to me that we would cheat. As far as I know, I was the youngest person at the time in the state to receive a hunting license. So I've been an enthusiast of firearms for my entire life. I've been using them as tools for my entire life. Um, I've been hunting small game since that age, since 6. Been hunting big game since I was old enough. 12 years old is the age in California to hunt big game. I have been interested in marksmanship my entire life. I qualified expert with a pistol in the Navy. For those of you who don't know, I did a short stint in the Navy, and they had to ask me politely to leave. I tend to keep that stuff to myself because it's a little embarrassing to me. I'm a very failure shy person. I struggle with failure. I'm a perfectionist, and I just entered something that I wasn't capable of finishing. I wasn't able to finish what I started there. However, marksmanship was not my issue. It was definitely discipline related. I had many struggles with discipline as a young man in a lot of facets of life. So moving from there, got out of the Navy and continued my journey of life and continued hunting, continued acquiring and practicing with firearms, and assumed proficiency. I could shoot small groups with a handgun. I could shoot small groups with a rifle. I didn't shoot very often, but when I did shoot, I took my time and verified what I already knew, which was I know how to shoot. And I think it was about 3 years ago. Sadie and I had been talking about her learning how to shoot and learning specifically how to shoot handguns a little bit more proficiently. She had had a couple experiences, but they were not particularly thorough experiences. And so we took a few of my handguns out and practiced. Just target practice. Just shooting slowly at targets. Okay, so she started learning that she somewhat enjoyed firearms, and I rekindled a enjoyment for firearms. I had some extra money at the time to spend on ammunition, and so we started shooting more. It was at that time that I started watching Hickok 45 because I wanted to learn more about various firearms. And he was such a good shot, and he was so well spoken and so easy to swallow and easy to watch that I just binge watched hours of Hickok 45. It kind of became like a comfort to my wife. She would hear from the other room like, Hickok 45 here, and it just is almost like a little feel good. He knows what his brand is, and it is that. And so when I had explored the various weapons that I was interested in on Hickok 45, I started getting a little more interested in terminal ballistics and ammunition and how that ammunition functions in various weapons. And that led me to Paul Harrell. And I would say my first impressions of Paul Harrell were maybe similar to what some people's first impressions of me are, because I'm a little arrogant. I'm a little bit perhaps cocky, because I personally know what I'm capable of with these tools, and Paul Harrell very much was aware of his abilities. I was a little bit skeptical in the beginning, because it's very rare to see people with Army medals and Marine Corps medals, and so I was actually in the very beginning a little bit skeptical that this wasn't a case of stolen valor. And I was wrong, but he is a rare breed and an exceptional case. So that being said, Paul Harrell taught me so many things, and he's a person that I had many opportunities to go and meet at small gun shows and never did, which I'm a little bit disappointed in. But from the third person, from through this barrier of the screen, he taught me so much about my deficiencies. And coming from someone who displays, people can talk and run their mouths all they want, but Paul Harrell could shoot, and it was very apparent. And so the first time that I ever said to myself, I could shoot like that, I think I could shoot like that, and set out to prove it to myself, the same as I did with Hickok 45 when I first said, I think I'm that good. And so setting up pop cans at 50 to 80 yards with 45 ACP and popping them. Okay, so there's some things I can do. But Hickok 45 can also empty 3 mags on steel plates at 25 yards without a miss as fast as he can pull the trigger. I wasn't that good. I thought maybe, tried it, wasn't, practiced. So I learned deficiencies from him. Paul Harrell, when I seen him shoot after a bit of my own practice and self-exploration, I could shoot that good. And I practiced, and I tried, and I couldn't. And so the long story short is that, especially his lecture about, his recommendation is that we go and shoot matches. Go and shoot a local match at your local gun club. Go and shoot a competition, no matter what kind. Have some pressure on yourself, have an audience, have some things making you nervous, uncomfortable, or upset. And that was the best advice that I ever took from any man, and it was a stranger on the internet, Paul Harrell, recommending that in order to explore my deficiencies as a shooter, as a marksman, that I should go and explore stressful situations with a handgun. And he doesn't recommend people go out and get in gunfights, right? Go shoot a match. And so I've learned so many deficiencies in that journey, deficiencies with my weapons. I've finally switched away from 1911 platform, not because I don't think the weapon's functional. it flat out because of a deficiency of ammunition. The capacity of the little 9mm conversion, 9+1 and a 9-round mag in the pocket, that just does not compare to a 17-round flush mag in my P320 and a 21-round extendo mag in my pocket. That is a ton of firepower. That's equivalent to 220s in this. And if you guys, it is not equivalent in its capability, but God help someone if they're at 100 yards and expecting my handgun to not be effective. They're going to get some holes poked in them. A 9mm pistol is very capable at 100 yards, and at a torso-sized target, it is more than adequate for the job. So all of that being said, I've solved several deficiencies from following his advice. The shooting matches, going to stressful situations, program compliance is another thing he taught me. I go nowhere unarmed. And if there are places that require me to be unarmed, I refuse to go there. That is the bottom line. It's an ethical question for me. If I'm required to go unarmed, I refuse on ethical grounds. It is a moral objection to attending anything that requires me by law to be unarmed. And program compliance is a way of life for me. And Paul Harrell taught me to shamelessly adhere to program compliance. So this whole thing a little long-winded, as I usually am. My day of bear hunting is done, and I just wanted to take a moment to silently say thank you to a legendary instructor and a legendary marksman at this point. Perhaps not the best marksman ever, but absolutely one of the most famous. And let's just have a moment of thanks for that gift to humankind that was Paul Harrell. And God rest his soul. And I honestly believe that we will see him again someday.